Hey, excuse me. Hey, what's up, everyone? Today is August 14th, 2019, and it is, honestly, man, I can't even remember when. I think it's like day 224, 365-day video challenge. Um, you know, I learned had a really good reminder today of, our purpose of being humans here. Um, you know, there's all this stuff with going with the Times Up movement, the Me Too movement, and I, uh, I love all that stuff that's happening because for so long, uh, like I've had this like wanting to work with certain people in my industry, right? And it's weird because I feel like I've had these wanting to work like really good filmmakers, da da da, da. And I've always wondered like how is it that I've never worked with these people, and I realized that I'm protected because a lot of people out there can be um, just kind of cruel, I guess, and I mean, not that I don't have a thick skin, I mean, I can handle a lot of stuff, but there's certain things or certain criteria that certain people expect, which I completely understand. But when it comes down to disrespect and abuse, uh, that's not something that I personally really care to be a part of. And I know there are a lot of people like that. And today I found out that Placido Domingo was accused of, you know, really just certain types of abuse towards other women, right? So I met up with some friends tonight, and we were just talking about um, difference of creating value in society and um, you know having power and wealth and and all this, and what do you do with that, right? And for us, we're just philosophizing about stuff and just really having a clear picture of what we're doing. We were having a very like Buddhist conversation, and in Buddhism, we talk about practicing for oneself and practicing for others, right? And when we practice for others, we create an impact, right? And it's all about creating an impact. But first, you got to practice for yourself, right? You got to get yourself straight. You got to get yourself good, and then you go out and you practice for others. And what that means is, um, you know, after you've created a solid foundation for yourself, help others become create a solid foundation for themselves, or help others become happy, right? And that's how this practice works, is that we practice for oneself and practice for others, which equals creating an impact in the world. And that's what we're here to do, is to create an impact one person at a time, right? Now, there are some people that love power, and they soak up the power, they soak up money, and it just becomes mine, mine, mine. It's greed, right? It becomes uh, greed, and that sort of practice is just practicing for oneself, not practicing for other people. I mean, sure, you're an entertainer or whatever it is that you do, and and we sometimes, let's say we entertain and we give to the audience, for instance, right? Sure, that's giving. Sure, on a certain level, that is definitely giving, and you're bringing a lot of value to the world. But in your private life, when you're just giving, actually, you're giving to during a performance. You're giving so that you can gain recognition and fame and whatever. Sure, that happens, but when you're giving in your private life, or when that show's done and you go home and you give and you don't give the same way, it and you and we what am I trying to say here? Basically, we're doing things so that we can gain power, right? And that eventually becomes arrogance, anger, cruelty, just ridiculous stuff, right? That doesn't create any type of positive impact. So the conversation that we had, that I realized, was that all those opportunities that I had that I never got was because I was protected. I was highly protected, and now things are starting to shift, and again, I am protected. Now I'm protected by working with the best people that I vibe with. Now, if I'm introduced to somebody, and I mean, for instance, you know, money isn't a thing that rules me. It doesn't rule me, right? Yes, I like money. I mean, money helps with so many things, right? And at the same time, for instance, we're looking for funding for this project, and I was introduced to an investor, and the guy was cool. It's great, but there's a couple of things that he said that just didn't vibe with me, and I just had to let him go. And I think most people might have really just did their best to deal with it, but I can't do that. I cannot bring someone like that into my home, and and spread that quote unquote poison into my home and my family. And when I say my home and my family, I'm talking my project, right? That I'm producing, and I will not do that, especially if I'm supporting the person that created it, right? So I need to protect that person, to make sure that that person has the best possible energy in this project. So, whether I'm, producing or acting, it all comes down to how am I going to make the most positive impact, right? How am I going to make the most positive impact? It's a lot of thinking right now, man. Anyhow, that's where I'm coming from right today, and that's some of the realizations that I've had today. So, just wanted to share that with you. Yeah, please tune back tomorrow, and let's win together today. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.